Assalamu alaikum everyone. How are you guys? So we are here with our third meeting on human resource management in the period of COVID-19 lockdown, quarantine days, and we are discussing chapter number 11, total rewards and compensation part 2. So we were actually talking about compensation in last class. So what is compensation? What is the total reward policies? What are the various strategic objectives? What is variable pay, incentives, and benefits, what comes under competency based approach, what are the various approaches or philosophies that are actually existing in today's world on compensation management. We discussed all those things in well detail, and today we are going to talk about the issues that are actually encountered when we design a global compensation management policies or the compensation for global employees or employees who are going to get transferred into a multinational into an international destination. So let's talk about it in little detail. So possible components of global employee compensation. When you are going to design a compensation for a global employee, or you are a company which is actually referred as a multinational company or a global company, and you are supposed and you are the manager compensation and you have been assigned or tasked to design a compensation for the company that actually suits the overall international standards. So what you are going to include into an employee compensation plan for a global employee. So what would be the components? So possible components are the very first thing, the foreign service and hardship premium. If this employee is actually redesignated in terms of destination, I have been working in Karachi, but now in Pakistan. But now you want me to move to Thailand or Dubai or Singapore or Malaysia. So certainly I will be having certain problems. I will have to deal with the various hardship. I have to think about the cultural shocks. So obviously the company is going to compensate me in terms of hardship premiums and foreign services. Okay, relocation. Obviously, if I am relocating myself, it will certainly cost me as an employee. Therefore, company pays for that relocation cost and moving along in terms of moving allowance allowances, housing and utility allowances. Obviously, when I was living in Pakistan, I was actually having my own house if I was a junior employee. But now, since I'm a senior employee, therefore I should be provided housing and utility allowances and facilities as well. So it will also include into it. Another thing is that this is sometimes referred as COLAs, or the cost of living adjustments. So obviously, I am going to live into international cities. Therefore, I have to adjust my living expenses, how I was living at my native place, at my own homeland in Pakistan, and how am I going to adjust myself and my living lifestyle standards depending upon my salary and limitations. Therefore, there should be a certain handsome amount should be paid to me so that there shouldn't be any difference, or there shouldn't be any kind of adjustments I should be going to encounter or experience. Tax equalization payments. Okay, in Pakistan, I wasn't supposed to pay that much of taxes that I am actually paying in Dubai or Thailand or Malaysia or Singapore or any other destination in the world. Therefore, company is going to pay me an equal amount so that it doesn't affect my salary slab or my living standards or my lifestyle. My children certainly needs education. Therefore, company is going to pay me an educational allowance for my children as well. Okay, home leave and travel allowance. If I want to go home to Pakistan and I am actually working here in Singapore, so how many days I will be entitled to? Will I will I be given a travel allowance if I am going on home leave? Okay, how many days I will be entitled for to go home? 1 month or 15 days? What is the policy of the company? and how much I will be paid for that leave as well. Will it be a paid leave or is it going to be an announced? So all these things, I being the manager, global employee compensation, have to think before actually designing a compensation policy for an international employee. Then I have to think about the global compensation issues, compensating expatriates. Okay, if I am an expatriate, therefore there are three different approaches that actually helps me compensate the expatriates. Now, what are these approaches? Okay, the first approach is deferred as balance sheet approach. Okay, the company actually balance your sheet, your expenses sheet, your income sheet. It gives you a certain percentage raises in every slab of your balance sheet. Whatever your expenses were, whatever your salaries were, whatever your income and revenues are, different revenues of your compensation were in your native homeland, how much now you should be paid in terms of balancing your balance sheet. What is the difference in the balance sheet on the two sides of the balance sheet? We have to create a balance on the both sides. Therefore, in equal amount should be paid if there is an inequality or imbalance in the balance sheet. Then we have another approach that is referred as global market approach. You are going to pay me whatever the global market approach is. Whatever, say for instance, if I am an employee of Nestle International, if I am an employee of Dell computer manufacturing company, okay, if I am working with Google or Microsoft, so whatever their global market approaches are, they will be compensating me according to those global approaches. So they are going to meet in whatever country I am going to transfer, they are going to transfer me, they are going to pay me according to that country's slabs. Then comes tax equalization plan. Okay, if I am being charged extra amount of taxes here in another country as compared to my native place, so company will be paying that compensation for tax equalization so that I don't get the difference. I don't get affected because of these tax slabs. Moving forward. Okay, when we are talking about compensation, now let's come back from global to our local working environment. Let's talk about the normal compensation policy that is referred as the categories of the compensation exempted employees. Okay, there are employees in the organization, those who are referred as exempted and those who are referred as non-exempted. Okay, non-exempted employees are the subordinate employees. The employees from grade 1 to grade 16 are referred as subordinates. These can be the cooks, plumbers, it can be the watchmen, it can be the supervisors, it can be electricians, plumbers, it can be clerks, head clerks, it can be nurses, it can be drivers, it can be the gardeners. So these are the employees, those who actually are office assistants, are head clerks, are banker, teller, वगैरह, etc. All these employees are referred as what subordinates, and these employees are referred as non-exempted employees. These are non-exempted from an organization. The company has to pay them overtime if they are going to take the work from them. If they want these employees to stay an hour extra and they are asked to work extra, they will be paid according to per hour and a specific amount that is determined prior to actually engaging an employee in any kind of overtime. Okay, there are another employees who are referred as exempted employees. These employees are the officer or executive cadre employees. These are referred as what executives, administrators, administrative authorities. That can be anything. They can be doctors, they can be engineers, they can be computer specialists. It can be a programmer, It can be anybody, a lecturer, a teacher. They all come above BPS 17 and 22. They come under this slab. Therefore, professionals, computer employees are outside salespersons. Okay, I'm not talking about salesmen. Salesmen come into exempted employees and they are paid handsomely. Therefore, they should not be paid any kind of overtime amount if they are actually working an hour extra to complete the task because they are already paid handsome. They don't need any extra overtime. Determination, how you are going to determine the status under the FLA. Okay, Federal Labor Standard Act is an act that is actually practiced in America, but generally we can also use these criteria to determine who should be paid overtime, who should be referred as exempted and non-exempted employees, how we are going to determine that. Okay, categories for exempted status, okay, executives, administrators, professionals, are land, are creative, computer employees, are outside sales. Major criteria for exemption status is to see what are their per week pay level, how much they are paid per week. Okay, the job duties and responsibilities. You will go through their JDs and JS and you will identify, you will see what are their primary duties, whether they have any decision making discretionary authority, whether they can make judgments, whether they have this authority to make decisions, authority or work responsibilities, or any other factor. Paid on a salary basis. If they are paid on salary basis, how much they are paid. So this is the criteria on which you will be. And the criteria in Pakistan, as I have told you, if an employee that actually is a BPS 17 and above grade employee, they are all referred as exempted employees. They are not paid overtime. And employees below BPS 16 and grade 1, they are paid compensation that is referred as overtime work. Okay, common issues overtime. Overtime, these are issues, the compensatory time off, how much these employees will be compensated if they are taking leave or they are taking time off. Okay, is there any kind of incentives for non-exempted employees, those who are subordinates, whether they are entitled for incentives or benefits or not? Okay, you have to ensure the training time. Okay, does the training time comes under overtime or not? In some organization, it is considered as overtime. Okay, you cannot actually say if we are giving you an incentive, it is your overtime. No, incentives is the second part of the compensation, and overtime is paid for an extra amount of work that you actually are extra amount of time that you actually engage yourself, involve yourself in organizational goals and target meeting. Travel time does not come under overtime. So traveling time, you are paid traveling allowances for it. It does not constitute, does not come under the overtime. So travel time is not overtime, training time is not overtime. Okay, incentives are not overtime, compensatory time off are not overtime. These are all different types of incentives that are paid, benefits that are paid to a non-exempted employee. So overtime is altogether a different thing, and all these things are a different thing. And an employee who is non-exempted employee is paid for all these things. Okay, compensation administration process. Now we are here, how we are going to go through the administration of the compensation, how we can evaluate a job, how we can determine which job needs how much difficulty or how much it should be paid, how much an employee should be paid for a certain job. So for that you need to study or conduct job analysis. You have to study JDs and JS. Then you have to go for valuing the job. You have to give value. You have to evaluate the job. You have to market the price, market pricing. You have to ensure that how much is paid for a specific job. Say, for instance, how much is paid for an office assistant, how much a secretary should be made. Okay, a secretaries are mostly entitled for heads, not for junior employees. Therefore, have if you are an HOD, head of department of any organization, of any department, you will be entitled to have an office assistant, you will be entitled to have an office secretary. So how much office secretary should be paid? You have to evaluate it how into the same industry. You have to ensure if you are studying, if you are working, if you are valuing a job of an office assistant into an oil and gas industry, therefore you are going to think about all the companies that are working into the oil and gas industry. If you are valuing an office assistant job into a university, and you are actually valuing an office assistant or job secretary, HOD secretary position, you have to think, you have to look into different universities, what the other employees are actually paid for such kind of job. Second thing is to go for the pay surveys. Okay, let me take a break here. Okay, someone is actually knocking at my door. Okay, so we were talking about pay surveys. So organizations has to conduct pay surveys. Okay, there are certain third parties or consultancies or those who are the survey, they are the facilitators, just like we have these outsourcing companies that actually help us in testing services, the STS, CBA testing service, NTS, National Testing Service, SAM is. We have these consultancies, those who actually goes and conducts different surveys on different topics. So we can get help from these consultancies. They can help us with various different kinds of pay surveys. Okay, ji. Based on these two different dimensions and two different types of information, job valuing and pay surveys, we actually develop our pay structures, how we are going to set different parameters, how we are going to set the salary slabs for every different grade within the organization. We determine the pay policies as well. Okay, the pay policies are referred as the percentage of the increment. Okay, we decide what kind of benefits, what kind of allowances, what kind of incentives, or what kind of variable pay, and how much of those benefits are entitled for various different grades. Okay, what kind of benefits or incentives will be paid for grade 7 employer, grade 10 employee. Okay, how much incentives or benefits will be paid, or how much an increment would be entitled for a BPS 17 and above. So you have to determine all those policies. Policies are actually the guiding principles that actually help you in designing the pay structure of organizations. Okay, then comes the individual pay. Okay, sometimes the pay is also attached with the performance appraisals. Okay, the performance appraisals actually helps us in designing or making your pay structure or your pay slab more efficient, more competitive than any other person in the organization is being paid. If you are performing well, you will be paid more. If you're performing not well, obviously you are going to get either a meager increment or nothing in increment, or also your bonuses and commissions, if they are such kind of organizations, such kind of principles are there. Then implement, communicate, and monitor. You are going to implement this such kind of payment procedures and compensation policy. Okay, you are going to communicate all the weak points to the employees, all the different difficult areas which are not understandable for a normal employee. You have to make them understand them, communicate them properly, and monitoring the compensation policies are actually practiced by the employees. Moving forward, evaluating jobs with job evaluation methods. Okay, how you are going to value a job, how you are going to determine what is the value of a specific job. Say, for instance, If I am a lecturer, if I am an assistant professor, what is the value of my job in the organization and how much I should be paid. That is the valuation of the job. Okay, now let's talk about what is job evaluation. We have to evaluate a job, its worth. It's a formal systematic means used to identify the relative worth of a job within the organization. What is the worth of a job within the organization? And what are the systematic means to evaluate it? Okay, these are referred as compensable factors. Okay, what are compensable factors? A job value commonly present throughout a group of jobs. What are the most commonly present values that are present in jobs? Okay, groups of jobs. What do you mean by groups of jobs? Lecturer, it means there are many groups of lecturers. Okay, the lecturers in HRM, lecturers in finance, lecturer in marketing, lecturer in supply chain management. So we have different groups of jobs. Same goes assistant professor in marketing, finance, HR, supply chain management, and all other factors are involved here. So common value, how much value addition is there by a specific group of job? Something for which an organization will compensate an employee. Okay, I share my knowledge, so that is the compensable factor. Okay, we go and teach ethics to the students, that is a compensable factor. Not everyone can go and talk to the employees. Okay, if I am speaking in English, I am delivering my lecture in English. In Pakistan, not everybody gives lectures or tutorials in English. Okay, not everybody records a video and uploads on the YouTube. That is a compensable factor, but unfortunately, we are not paid in Pakistan for such extra effort. If a teacher is paid, neither we are appreciated either from the management or from the HR. This is really very unfortunate, especially. Okay, leave it. I don't want to talk about. I think. Okay, it would become official. So moving forward, so we have an example here, examples of compensable factors for different job families in a hotel. Okay, we have an example of a hotel and we have various different job families here. Okay, all jobs in a hotel. Service experience, training received, okay, work autonomy, decision-making authority, physical mental demands, and knowledge and education. So these are the basic all jobs that are actually required. These are the actual compensable factors. Okay, front desk jobs, handling confidential information. That is the job of a front desk office. Okay, most of the time reception. Computer operation knowledge, whether he or she has the computer knowledge skills. Okay, forecasting skills, revenue management experience, phone interaction skills. So all these are required as what? These are the compensable factors that actually includes, that are actually compensated, that actually determines the worth of a job. Restaurant jobs, okay, if you are working in a restaurant, so in restaurant order processing, how you are going to process the order, register knowledge, okay, which you have to register the reservations of a specific seat, a specific table, or whatever the case is. Food preparation skills, area cleanness, okay, the cross training in different works. These are the various different requirements. These are compensable factors for which, okay, for teacher, okay, you are going to, if you are going to design compensable factor for me, then you have to go and study my job description. If I'm a lecturer, that means I should be having the knowledge of my specific course, subject, or area. Okay, the third thing, I should be able to communicate with the students, with the audience. Okay, both in Urdu, English, or Sindhi, three different languages, three different mediums. And if I am able to work in Pashto as well, or in Baloch, so how much languages I am actually speaking, how much, how many English different languages mediums of communication I can communicate. These are the compensable factors. Okay, ji, how strict I am, how confident I am. So these are the compensable factors. Job evaluation methods. Now, how you are going to evaluate a job? What is the worth of a job? There are various different methods. Okay, to evaluate a job. One method is referred as point method. You actually count the points. Okay, if I am a lecturer, if I am a teacher, okay, he can speak English. One, he has the knowledge of his subject. Okay, he also has the computer skills. Okay, he is very good at computer softwares. 3, 4. Okay, ji. He is really good at designing question papers. He actually writes very nicely. Okay, he really speaks nicely. Okay, he really dresses very well. Okay, ji. He also gives trainings to the students as well as professionals. Okay, he is also good at administrative skills. These are the different points. Okay, when you are going to evaluate the job, you are actually going to write all these points and you are actually paid for those points. These are referred as compensable factors. Ranking method, you actually rank the jobs grade wise. Which job is more important for an organization and how much this job, a person who is doing this job, be paid. Classification of method, you actually classify the jobs into different groups. Okay, finance, marketing, HR, different jobs. Okay, production jobs, finance department jobs. Okay, we have engineering wing, administration wing. So you actually classify the jobs and then you actually group them, rank them, point based on the point. Then we have the factor comparison methods. You actually will go and evaluate the various factors and make a comparison, whichever is more important, and you develop certain valuing or market price to that specific job. Okay, what is market pricing? Using market pay data to identify the relative value of the jobs based on what other firms pay for a similar job. You actually go and study the market survey. You actually go and check the pay data about other companies in the same market, in the same industry, how much the similar jobs are paid in other companies. That is referred as market pricing. You actually make a compensation structure that is more compatible with the market requirements. Okay, in market, other companies are paying to a salesman around 30,000 to 40,000. Therefore, I am going to pay in between 30 to 40 or 35, 32, 33, 36, 38, 39. We have different slabs. So what is the advantages and what are the disadvantages of using the pay survey or pay data? So advantages, when I'm talking about advantages, the pay pricing ties organizational pay levels to the external job market without internal job evaluation distortion. If you are going to market price your jobs, then you don't need to go and think about various methods of evaluating a job or valuing a job and think about compensable factors. You are going to follow the market. There is no need to go into the rocket science of compensation. You simply go and see how much for a specific job the market is paying. You are going to pay that much amount. Simple as that. Communicate to the employees that compensation system is market linked. So you are going to tell the employees how much they are going to pay. So other organizations are paying this much, we are paying you this much. There is no rocket science into it. Disadvantages of using market pricing is it relies on market survey data. If the data of the market is wrong, then you are obviously going to follow a paid example. A specific job may differ from matching job in the survey. Okay, there is a possibility whatever work we do with the lecturer in sector I is not possible. The same kind of work is actually done at Zabist or at Kharagpur University or at any government college. we make more effort, we are more hardworking, we have more formalities that we have to complete all those formalities. And fortunately, the university, Kharagpur University lecturers don't follow those things. And unfortunately, we have to. I'm sorry, I should not be saying that, but there are so many formalities that are actually involved here in Sakkar University that we don't see in any other university, particularly Zabistan University. But our university believes that they pay us handsomely, therefore they actually are demanding to do all those things, and we actually are supposed or compelled to oblige to their requirements, else they will kick us out. Simple as that. Okay, ji. The market data focus range of sources is a concern. Okay, what kind of industry we were talking about? Paying, trying pay levels to market data can lead to a wide fluctuation. There's a possibility that there should be a fluctuation. Okay, the pay ranges if are less or they are misleading information, the market data is misleading, then I am going to have a problem. Okay, with this, I end my second part of today's lecture. We shall be meeting in our next lecture and we shall be talking about various different things related to the compensation. For now, this is Masroor Soomro signing off, saying Allah Hafiz and take good care of yourself. We shall be meeting in our next class. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.